if the bones of this work, if the DNA is right, it will lead to comedy. So
Yeah.
I just, I try to come up with a story that works if it was a drama first. And then with somebody like Pete, he's funny and he dealt with, grief and tragedy in his life by being someone who has a very dark, very honest sense of humor. So I don't have to create a funny story for him because I know in every moment that's how his mind works. I mean, I'm obsessing over the structure. And then on the day we shoot is almost the first time where I'm like, okay, how do we make this funnier? This doesn't seem that funny. And we're all, banging our heads together. And sometimes we really, toss an enormous amount of what we've done.
Hey, how you doing? I'm Corey Hunter, and man, let's dive straight into the interview. Here, there was a conversation about pretty much balance. In comedy, man, we want to laugh. So we're all with the jokes. In like crime movies, you want to see, or thrillers, you want your mind to be played with. You want to be given that puzzle in riddles so that you can solve it. In blockbuster films, action films, you want to be entertained, which is nice. And this is something that I've seen a lot of skilled YouTubers do as well. Like, they're really good at making you laugh or doing action or whatever the case may be. Like, they do really good work there. And what I also learned from YouTubers is that they're really good at taking somebody else's work and improving it, because they see, oh man, if they would have had a little bit more action or something. But what I see a lot of creators in general fail at is creating that balance. Sometimes when it's time to create, it's lacking something. It's just empty. It's nice and polished, but it just lacks substance. And this is what this interview is about. The interview is about what is that balance. Why in action movies it's so important to have dialogue. Like, why do we get the downtimes? Like, you watch something like Transformers and it's like, do we need the love story? Yeah, we do, man. Like, if it's a movie about a family and I don't know, it's an action movie, we need to know about the family because we need something to be our anchor. That's what these stories is about. The story comes first, and then I feels like the genre comes second. Does that make sense? For example, it don't matter what the genre is, whether it's horror or action or thriller, the characters have to be compelling. We have to feel something for the main characters. Otherwise, we don't care about the movie. Does that make sense? Like, why would I care? We need something to be our anchor. That's why it's so important. That's why structure is so important. I think I spoke about format before. That's why format is so important. This is why when you watch movies, usually in the first half an hour it's kind of slow, and then after that it picks up. It's feel like it's moving slow because what they're doing is they're introducing all the characters to us. But more than just introducing them, they're actually making us sympathize with those characters. So there's like two examples. You got the movies where, the guy get up in the morning, he's getting dressed, he go to school, he meet up with his best friend, you see the girl next door who pays him no mind. The bully comes and he bullies him, and pretty much he comes home, and then there's an issue with his mom's or his father or whatever the case may be. That right there, we're building our character. Right there, we're sympathizing with him. We're feeling something for him. We know we are on this roller coaster with him. Therefore, whatever happens to him, it's gonna hit harder. As opposed to another like cloudy editing tactic that people use, which is the dude wakes up in the morning and boom, freeze frame, and they just smack a bunch of information on him. Oh yeah, this is Jonathan, 17. He goes to, I don't know, Valley High. Boom. And then from there, it just picks up with the plot. That's nice. I know, like the same information was communicated. One was communicated in 5 minutes, one was communicated in like 20 minutes. That's nice. But in one scenario, I care about Jonathan. In the other, who cares? All right, now when Jonathan walk across the street and get hit by a car, okay, who was Jonathan? Oh yeah, he was Jonathan, 17. He came from Valley High. That's nice. Whereas the other one, after he have an argument with mommy and daddy, he walk outside, get hit by a car. Boom. Oh wow. What happened? What's gonna happen to Jonathan now? That's the story. That's our anchor. Now we want to see what's gonna happen. The other one is like, okay, is this gonna keep my attention any further? I hope it don't make me turn. Whereas the first one, we're actually on this roller coaster with him. We want to see what's gonna happen, because now when he get hit by this car, we feel something. And that's what he's talking about in terms of like action and comedy. We need something to be our anchor, or it doesn't matter. Like the Star Wars, man, as dope as Star Wars is, the lightsaber battles is the best thing about it, but it doesn't matter if we don't feel anything for the characters. So, they having a lightsaber battle? Yeah, but why they fighting? See, now that's our anchor. Why they fighting? Who's fighting? When they're fighting? All these little details is what constructs this big space opera. And that's the case with every movie. Like, that's why every movie is like the big competition happen at the ending. That's why we always get that high point, that big action scene at the end of movies. It's like, we gotta build to that. It has to be earned. We can't just do crazy stuff. And sometimes, like I was, I think I spoke in another video about format. Sometimes people's like, nah, I know I'm gonna do something that's never been done before, and we're just gonna get rid of format. It doesn't matter. We're just gonna hit them with boom. And that's nice. It's nice to start with a boom. But now we gotta bring it down. Because even the movies that start with a boom, they bring it down. Okay. Usually we do a slow build, but in this movie we're gonna do a boom. But whatever you choose, the format is format, because this is what people understand. People need to understand and care about the characters, and that's bottom line. That's the foundation of like movie making. That's what makes you a skilled filmmaker. It's not necessarily what happened, but the feelings you can communicate. That's what it is. You know, no matter what you watch, how it's edited, who's acting, whatever the case may be, it's about the feelings that's being communicated that matters most. So we can't forget that when we're creating these stories, when we're writing these scripts. We can't forget that the characters are perhaps the most important aspect of the entire project or process, or in terms of communicating these feelings, because filmmaking is so broad. There's so many different things that's important. But character is absolutely important. Even in stories when plot takes center stage, we still have to care about the character. That's why franchises aren't based on plot. Franchises could care less about plot and what happens. Franchises is based on character. On characters. For example, like, what's a franchise? You can think of any franchise. Like, Spider-Man is a franchise. It matters because we care about Peter Parker. That's it. What actually happens in these Spider-Man movies isn't as important as it being Peter Parker. And the moment we change him, we have to build this whole other character. That's why Iron Man pop. It popped because we care about the character and not necessarily about the story. The story is important, the plot is important, but we care more about the character than the story. That's why every time somebody speaks about Iron Man, they speaks about Tony Stark and not the plot of these movies, because he's what matters most. Because we care about Tony, we care about the plot. The same thing with Captain America or the Fast and Furious series, in which we care about these characters. That's why they're able to become so ridiculous. Fast and Furious is a superhero movie in itself, but it doesn't matter because we care about these characters. The same thing with Back to the Future, man. We care about Marty McFly. That's why it's so hard. That's why it's never been rebooted, because we want Marty McFly and not somebody else who has a name Marty McFly. If it's not that guy, we probably don't want to see it because we're so invested in him. And that's what makes all the other spectacles work, is us caring. So yeah, man, there has to be balance. If there's that balance trying to match, that balance between character and action, character and comedy, character and thriller, whatever the case may be, we have to care about these characters. Because even I know I just now saw an interview with David Fincher, and he did Seven. And Seven is like a thriller in terms of they trying to find his murderer, right? Which is nice. But what really make it pop is that we care about the characters. We care about these characters. They spend a lot of time with these characters in quiet times in terms of them speaking to each other, of their personal situations. Because then when it hits at the ending, the big surprise, I hope you saw it. If you didn't, go watch it. But at the end, the big surprise is all about, it only hits because we care about these characters. So yeah, man, I appreciate y'all. That was on my mind. That's what came to me from this interview. Don't forget to follow, subscribe, and like. And I appreciate y'all. And until next time.